WNBA Player of the Week. There have only been 40 triple-doubles in the history of the WNBA. Cheryl Swoops recorded the first WNBA triple-double during the 1999 season, while Caitlin Clark logged the most recent triple-double earlier this week. Caitlin Clark became the first ever rookie in WNBA history to record a triple-double twice in the same season. In that game, Clark scored her 103-point shot this season, becoming just the sixth woman to do so and first in her rookie season. She now has 102 on the season and is 19 away from Diana Taurasi in second place and 26 away from UNESCO of the New York Liberty. My WNBA Player of the Week, surprise, surprise, Indiana Fever rookie sensation, Caitlin Clark. There's nothing really to say other than that. She's winning Rookie of the Year. She's a top candidate for league MVP honors. She ain't beating Asia Wilson for the MVP. But she's beating Angel Reese for the Rookie of the Year. That's a wrap. That's over. And props to Angel Reese, who's had a good year, by the way. Quick hitter number 3 goes to Chicago Sky rookie forward Angel Reese, who has a new weekly podcast called Unapologetically Angel. It's part of Playmakers Network of podcasts from Shaquille O'Neal. On the debut episode, co-host Maya Reese, who is Angel's cousin, asked her to address her feelings about rival Indiana Fever's Caitlin Clark and the Fever's fan base. Take a look at what Angel Reese had to say about that. Quote, Caitlin Clark fans, the Iowa fans, now the Indiana fans, I think there's a lot of racism when it comes to it, and I don't believe she stands on any of that. But when it comes to death threats, like, I'm talking about people who have come down to my address, following me home. Multiple occasions, people have made AI pictures of me naked, literally. They've sent it to my family members. It sucks to see that. And it's really hard that I have to go through that. End quote. If Angel Reese was older, I would have gotten on her about what she just said. Because I would have been like, how naive can you be? But she is young. She's only 22. And the reality is the scrutiny that she's been subjected to is inexcusable. It's egregious. It's disgusting. It's wrong. And there's a bunch of punk, no good, you know what's out there on the male and female side.
And I just want to make something clear. A lot of this has to do with people on the internet trolling. There's hackers. There's a lot of people that control. They understand how to get people ticked off. There's Reddit groups. There's Facebook groups. There's groups that people just sit and attack people. You guys got to understand that as well. And as she said, I don't believe Caitlin Clark has anything to do with this, which I don't think any of us think that. I think, there are trolls in that thing, those people of nature, and they enjoy doing this type of stuff. That's just who they are. That's just what it is.
Who are abusive because they're really, really good at being that way when they're behind keyboards and away from cameras and out of the spotlight where people know exactly who the hell they are. The only reason that I brought up the first part about Angel Reese is this. Caitlin Clark is box office. She is a star. And Angel Reese is to be completely believed that there's no hate. They both get along. They're cool with each other. They're high-end competitors, etc., etc. But you've known they were coming for you when you were waving your hands in your face to mock Caitlin Clark when you were beating her for the national championship. And you also are old enough to know that in this society, whether they want to admit it or not, they don't like seeing somebody black coming at somebody white who is a beloved star of theirs. That's not the case with all. It's not the case with most. But those who screech the loudest get the most attention sometimes. And that's what the worst of cynics and critics do. And so you knew they were going to come for you. You had to know that. Now, to the degree that they're doing so, I get where you're coming from. I get where you're coming from. But keep your spirits up because you're at a decisive advantage, Angel Reese. You're at a decisive advantage because they made the mistake of letting you know who they are, whoever those people are. And now you have perfect justification for keeping people at bay and not letting people too close where they could potentially hurt you. It's something most people usually learn when they get older. You learned it younger, which is a beautiful, beautiful thing. You're at an advantage. As for the Caitlin Clark fan she was alluding to, she ain't lying. It's not all, it's not most. A lot of them are fun loving. A lot of them are great fans. A lot of them are great, great people. But some of them are racist. Some of them don't want Angel Reese to be the one coming at her, and they use ethnicity as the rationale behind it. Again, very few compared to the many who wouldn't do that. But it is that kind of hate. I've seen it for years. I saw it when Allen Iverson was playing, and I was covering him every day. They saw it when Michael Jordan was on the come up. LeBron James, need I remind y'all, had racial epithets spray painted on his home in Brentwood, California, just a few years ago. This ain't new. We want to act like it's new. We want to act like we're this raceless society, that people ain't thinking about that. Most decent, God-fearing, loving people ain't thinking like that. But there's quite enough people who are far from that, who live on that kind of vitriol and hatred. And some of them, not most, not all, some of them have been Caitlin Clark fans coming at Angel Reese.
And if that's the case, man, that's really unfortunate. And like I said earlier, I think a lot of this has to do with trolls and things like that. But look, I've been to a lot of games and I've been to places, and you can feel someone has a passion for that one team so bad they will say anything and act a certain way towards you. I get it. You can call it racist. You can call it whatever you want. It's going to go both ways. And I think we're going to look at a microscope. I think we're going to look so close into it now because she's mentioning Caitlin Clark's fans. If that's the case, I believe every fan base is going to have a little bit of that then. That's undeniable. Every fan base is going to have a little bit of that. Come on, man. Let's be real. Let's be real. Another thing with the Chicago Sky, the only white girl I think is Rachel Bannum on that team. So you can see where the fans from Chicago have a little bit of that in them. And when it comes to the Fever, I can see where they can have a little bit towards Angel Reese as well. I've heard it. I've heard it, man. I've heard it. I've heard it more so from Angel Reese's side, just on the black empowerment and all that type of things and sticking up for black. And I get it. But I don't think we need to talk about it every segment. I don't think the race thing needs to be I think it needs to be addressed. But how much of this do we know what is true? Just because Angel Reese said it, now it's all true? That's the part that I'm not understanding. So Caitlin Clark can come out and say something, and now it's all true. She can go and say Angel Reese's fans are just disgusting and they're racist. Now we're going to sit here and say Angel Reese's fans are disgusting and racist. So I don't think it's okay that Stephen A is. I don't know. I don't want to be one-sided towards it either. I'm not going to say Angel's telling a lie, but Angel could go and say anything on their podcast. That means it's 100% true now. That's where we have to understand how the media works and how people with the audience work. They could say anything and change the narrative. So I don't know. I don't know how much of that is true. If it is true, look, we don't want that to happen. It's not that serious. These are both basketball girls that we support. It would leave the race and the harm stuff and the threatening, leave that out. If it's you doing it, leave it out. Leave it to the trolls. We don't wish that upon anyone. But I'm not going to sit here and agree with Angel Reese and Stephen A. just because of a statement on a podcast, which it just so happened to be her first podcast. And she has a clip of Caitlin Clark pretty much calling out her fans and what they've done and how worried and threatened she's felt with her fans. I'm not going to sit here and disagree 100%. And sending AI nudes and to your family, I don't know if that's true, man. I'm not going to say it's a lie, but like I said, if I don't know it's true or not, I'm not going to sit here and gas it up and just support it and be like, oh my God, Caitlin Clark fans, you guys are the worst, blah, 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 blah. For all I know, Caitlin Clark fans have turned the WNBA up, turned Angel Reese and the Chicago Sky and everybody else in this league up. So I'm not taking the take. I'm not digging the take on the Angel Reese statement. It's not giving me a. It's giving me perfect timing. It's giving me poor me. It's giving me feel sorry for me. I feel like it's not coming from a authentic place, and I could be wrong. It just so happens to be perfect timing. So I'm gonna leave that at that, man. It's your boy C. O'Connor. Welcome to Game Day Network. This is gonna be a huge topic. All of a sudden, you know, now we got Caitlin Clark's fans being thrown under the bus everywhere now. So I don't know. We got a lot to talk about. I'm gonna catch you guys on the next one. I appreciate you guys. Welcome to the channel. Yeah.